11:59 at Radio Free America, and this is Uncle Sam with music and the truth until dawn. Right now, I got a few words for some of our brothers and sisters in the occupied zone. The chair is against the wall. The chair is against the wall. John has a long mustache. John has a long mustache. It's 12 o'clock, Americans, another day closer to victory. And for all of you out there on and behind the lines, this is your song.
All right. Welcome to the Daily Gun Show. Today happens to be a G-Webs on the road version. It's show number 275. Today we're going to talk about a few different things. We're going to have a slight schedule in the change due to a couple change in our locations. We're going to talk about some of the North Dakota changes that have been happening up there, along with some regional things that need to be taken into consideration when you're going out. We're also going to talk about some considerations when you're purchasing a subcompact gun that are a little different than when you buy any other mid-size or full-size gun. And of course, we always have our daily regular items as well. And before we start the show, we always like to check to see if there's anything in particular going on in the greater world around us. I know the healthcare bill has been totally dropped by Congress. So if Trump is true to his word, we will not be seeing that for quite some time to come, as he has said that if it didn't go through, he'd simply have to move on to another priority. So I can't blame him for that.
Yeah, that's interesting. I hadn't heard that. I know they were having problems with it and stuff, so, but I can't say that I've really been keeping up with it.
Yeah, that was announced a couple hours ago. So Obamacare will live on for a little while longer.
Can you guys hear us?
Yeah,
I can now.
I just want to say we just got done shooting with Catch and Bob, so we had a 3 times international gun channel shoot up here at Ben Avery Shooting Range in Phoenix.
That's great. Why don't we go ahead and start, and while we have you on the line here, just in case we do lose you later on, why don't you tell us about what you guys were able to do and how things worked out?
They worked out pretty good. Catch decided to spend the rental. So Bob and Catch are heading out to the Big Sandy shoot, which is way out there to our right. And Jimmy and I are headed back into Phoenix. So yeah, we had a good chance. We went out to the Ben Avery shooting facility and shot for a while, and then split up and had a pretty good time.
Okay, I'm curious, how was that Bob's big bore experience?
I'm going to say it was fun.
Okay. Well, I know Jimmy has a brand new, at least brand new to him. I'm not sure if it's a 454 Casull. I want to say that's it. And I know Mr. Pawnery was able to hook him up with a handful of rounds to shoot through it.
Yeah, I heard them talking about that on the early watch today.
Right. That's what I was just curious to see if how Bob liked American Big Bore, but I guess we'll find that out at another time. But what else we got going out there, Smeg? You mentioned North Dakota. What's happening up there?
Yeah, as of yesterday afternoon, North Dakota now has permitless carry, otherwise known as constitutional carry. So that means, a resident of the state. I think it's a resident of the state. Maybe it's just anyone who's there. But anyways, a person who's in North Dakota can concealed carry without a permit, without any extra, asking permission to be able to exercise your right. So I think that's a good thing. Now, I was under the impression there were 13 states that had constitutional carry, and they would have been the 14th. But the article I read said something like they were the 12th. So I don't know where maybe that article was just wrong. That's what actually made me think when I was reading the article that it was old. And I was like, oh, I must have missed one. And then I looked at the date and I figured out that, well, actually, that article didn't have a date on it, but I found another article that did have a date that said, yeah, it was signed, in March 23rd of 2017.
Right.
So it did just happen. I don't know why that article had the wrong number of states, because I believe they're now the 14th.
Do you happen to recall when that takes effect?
Yes, it takes effect August 1st.
Okay.
And that's
Well,
the
it's
only
nice
thing
they didn't make them wait till January 1st.
right, and that's one of the things maybe I'm thinking on that article is because it said like they will be the 12th state with constitutional carry. Maybe the other ones that passed don't take effect until January. So maybe that's why it's like missing a couple. But
okay.
Either way, I mean, it's what's not unheard of for the news to get something wrong about gun stuff. So maybe the author just didn't know of the other states.
Right. So do you know if that also includes rifles or just pistols? And if it does, is it just conceal versus open carry?
That is a good question. I've never heard of anything having concealed rifle carry.
No, I mean,
I would think at least
a
that.
rifle and then open carry a pistol.
Right. Well,
I don't mean concealed rifle.
No, I know. I'm just saying. I'm breaking it down there because that's unfortunately, the word constitutional carry is just shorthand. It doesn't like different people think it means different things. And so some people I've heard talk about open carry as being constitutional carry and then, concealed constitutional carry. Like they make up terms. So I'm just kind of trying to clarify that this relates to being able to concealed carry a handgun without a permit. And I'm not sure on their open carry status. I'm kind of looking up right now if that's why I'm stumbling a little bit because I'm typing and talking.
Well, that's fine. Now, one of our in our first category, and we're not necessarily going to do it justice. We're just going to touch on it slightly. Is about big regional shoots and how to prepare in regards to the cost and things like that. We're going to take a slightly different angle on it. Because of what Smeggy and I have experience with, or / don't have experience with, and Smeggy, you had talked ever so briefly about preparing for whether you're going out hunting, for that big buck or something else. It's still going out for a big shoot, and you have to be prepared for it, and including the cost if you're traveling out of area, things like that, getting a hotel if you need it. Or if you're lucky enough to have somebody who has land where you can stay. So what should someone take into consideration for a major event? Whether it's, like I said, going out for that elk,
or going to like a competition or something. Yeah. Because I believe the topic is something about like regional shoot, which I mean that could be something similar to Big Sandy, or like a regional competition or whatever. So I would say like the biggest thing with my experience is going up north. Like I know it's not necessarily like way out of the way, but I'm going to a place that the nearest town's kind of far away. It is my family property and all that stuff, but the biggest thing to keep in mind is that if you forget something, you're kind of screwed. Like that you can't just go run and grab something. Something that has happened to me in the past, I always like to use a staple gun to staple up my targets. I just have like some logs laying in front of my berm and I just staple targets to them, and I ran out of staples. And it's like, well, that's a dumb thing to like forget about, So now when I go and get ready to pack up, I make sure I have plenty of targets for one, because I don't want to run out of paper targets or whatever to shoot at. Make sure I have plenty of staples and plenty of ammo. I go with the whole thing. It's almost like when you're gathering firewood for the night, if you're having a bonfire or whatever, is you gather as much as you think you need and then you double it. I do the same thing with ammo. I pack up as much as I think I'm going to shoot, and then I try and double it to the best of my ability. Sometimes I get to the point where I just can't even pick the bag up anymore, or the handles are ripping off. And then I say, okay, I better, pack a different bag or just call it good.
Now,
But,
do you do it kind of off the top of your head the day before? Or like myself, I usually like to create a checklist, because there's nothing worse than being, okay, now I either have to go buy something, or if it's not available for purchase, I've just ruined my trip. So I'll make a checklist of, everything from, I got to make sure I bring my certain boots instead of my regular, in addition to my regular footwear. I got to make sure I bring, double check the ammo box. Just don't lift it up and say, well, it feels good, but then all of a sudden you've got the wrong caliber. You were looking for 308 and you picked up a 50 cal can of 5.56. Yeah, it was heavy, but it's not the right caliber.
right. I have to say I don't make a checklist. So I will pack up a couple days ahead of time, which will give me time to be like, oh yeah, I forgot about this thing. But I just kind of do it from my head as I'm doing it. It's like, make sure, okay, got eyes, ears, targets, staples, ammo, magazines. There's some stuff that lives in my range bag, so I mean, sometimes I double check to make sure it's still in there. I have I want to say like first aid kit, but like a medical kit, right? With, tourniquets and bandages and all that stuff. Because that's the other thing. If something happens when I'm up there, dude, the nearest hospital's half hour away if you're hauling,
Yeah.
So you got to make sure you can take care of yourself or your buddies. But that lives in my range bag. I mean, that's one of those things that I have stuff scattered around. We have stuff at the house and different things, but it's like, I just make sure it's still in there because maybe I took it out for some reason. So double check that. Yep, that's in there. And that's about it. Oh, extra batteries for my red dot. Like I said, that's the type of stuff. It's not going to kill me. I mean, I can just use iron sights if it goes dead or whatever for the rest of the weekend. Because again, I'm not going to go run to the store and buy a new battery or something.
Now,
it's not worth it.
What about things like permits, things that you don't necessarily keep in your wallet all the time, but obviously would change your trip if you didn't have it?
Yeah, hunting permit I actually do normally keep in my wallet.
Oh, okay.
But at times when I didn't, I always just put it like in my rifle case. I have a hard shelled rifle case, and I just put the permit in there so that basically if I don't have my rifle, I don't have my permit.
Right. Now, do you wear hearing protection when you go out in the field?
For hunting, no, I do not.
Okay, because I know that's, some don't, some do, and I was just curious where you fell in that regards.
No, I look at the law of averages on that, considering where I hunt is there's not like many deer up there. I mean, basically, I'm talking deer hunting. That's what I do basically all of. I want to get into small game and do some bird hunting and stuff, but I've just never really had the opportunity. So anyways, for that, over the however many years I've been going, I've like taken 2 shots, like I've only got 2 deer. So I figure the majority of years I'm not even going to take a shot. So why would I sit there with hearing protection on the whole time? That seems kind of annoying. I want to be able to hear them walking up behind me or whatever, and which is why the Hearing Protection Act passing might be kind of nice, because I would probably get a rifle with a threaded barrel and put a suppressor on the end of it.
Right.
Because I know a lot of other people are the same way as me, but they're also much more successful hunters, which means they normally get something every year. So it's like every year they have at least a couple of shots unsuppressed, it'll add up. It'll hurt your hearing after a while.
Yeah, I know, speaking for myself, I'm a big fan of checklists, and I'll start usually, depending on how much things have to happen for the event to occur. I'll start a list on the refrigerator, and I'll initially brainstorm all the obvious things, hearing protection, ammunition, this, that, or the other. But then as the day gets closer, I'll remember, oh yeah, I need to add this little thing. And then another day or two go by and say, oh yeah, I better put that on there too. And then the night before, I'll go through and start collecting all that stuff and literally checking it off the list, that I have it all either in the car or by the front door ready to go out, that I have everything there.
Oh yeah, I definitely do the staging area thing. I take a place and like, this is where all my stuff goes. So then as I get like my range bag, okay, it's all set, I put it in the spot. Or like you said, if it's a hunting thing or whatever, okay, I got my boots and my hat and my glove and all, like that's in its own little duffel bag, and that's by the front door or that's by the back door, wherever. So yeah, I definitely do that kind of stuff, but I just don't go as far as to actually make a list. Right. If I forget something, I'll figure it out. But
another part of this question was costs, and I know you have a place to go to as far as lodging, but not everybody necessarily has that option. Like as an example, if I'm going to the Tulsa Wanamaker Gun Show, I don't like to drive there in a day, so I'm going to have to get a hotel between here and there. And then once I'm there, I'm going to have to have a hotel again, and then do the same thing in reverse. And then there's the cost of the show itself. And then if I actually want to purchase anything. So, I, as far as the cost saving up for that, I work the same way as if there's a class I want to take 6 to 9 months from now. I try to take a certain amount of money that I know that I can take from my discretionary funds each month that's not going to hurt my enjoying life, and put that aside so that by the time the event comes up, I have the money that I need for gas, I have the money I need for housing, for food, to get into the event or whatever it is, to get whatever special, if I need a permit for something, to get that. If I need to pay for a class, and make sure that that's paid for, as a way of, how do you come up? It's like, well, people hear about, well, class is $500, and then of course, then you have to get there, and then you might need a hotel while you're there, or it may take you more than a day to get there. Well, that's part of the pre-planning financially, that by putting a little bit aside each month, once you know roughly how much the class is, how much, how many hotel rooms you're going to need, you just simply add all that up and come up with a final number of what you need, and then figure out how much you need to set aside each month to make that happen. And and if it's regardless of your income, I shouldn't say regardless, but the less money you make, the longer it may take you to save up to make that happen. So you may not be able to go this year, but it doesn't mean you can't go ever. You just may have to wait for the following year to go. Barring life getting in the way, which certainly can happen to anybody. But I did want to address the cost factor as far as what I do. What do you have to add to that?
Well, I mean, that's a pretty good idea. I mean, I'm fairly good with saving money. I know some people aren't, but I'm pretty good at that. So I don't necessarily have to go out of my way to remember, like, oh, I got to put $20 aside every day. I'll just kind of remember, like, okay, I've got this thing coming up, so I'll try not to make any big purchases, leading up to it. But I definitely, that is a good idea, is to kind of figure out what it's going to cost you. And I don't know, maybe there might be some people who just don't travel that much. So super ballpark, I'd say, if you save up $100 a night for hotel and stuff, that's probably a good target. Might be more, might be less, but
yeah,
if anyone's just like hasn't really looked into it, that's a good ballpark. So figure that for every day you're going to need to sleep, toss $100 aside, and then if it ends up being cheaper than that, then you got that extra money for food and stuff. And I don't know, put $20 aside every day for food, because you figure out lunch and dinner and stuff.
Right. And there certainly are ways to save money on food. I mean, sometimes, yeah, you have to buy stuff, and because of where you're at and what's available. But if if money is still real tight, yeah, you can bring some things down there, make yourself some sandwiches, get some bottled water, and kind of help reduce your expenses, yet still be able to enjoy the experience.
Right. And that's, I like to always, if I'm talking saving money, I always round up the expense. So I tell myself in my head that it's going to be, X amount of dollars, and then it always ends up being less than that. So if I was able to save that much, then I'm good to go. And then I can either go out and have a nicer dinner one night, or come back and be like, hey, it wasn't as expensive as I thought it would be.
Right. Yeah, I tend to do the same thing, rather than assuming, oh, I'm going to get a 10% off and I'm going to get a discount here, and that, the motel in my area only costs $75. Therefore, the hotel where I'm going should only cost $75. Just because, again, I don't want to get all set up on a great event and then all of a sudden it gets ruined because I didn't have foresight. So, well, I think we probably put enough shovels of dirt on this topic, at least as far as what you and I can do on this topic. I know this is not exactly necessarily what G-Web's had in mind for this particular topic, but we'll let him address this topic in a future show. I'm sure he'll take it in the direction it's really supposed to do, or supposed to go, but this is the best we can do with just me and my son.
Yeah, that's okay, Dad. We're doing okay.
That's right. All right. We're going to head off into our second topic. And but before we do that, we always like to recognize a Gun Channel member. And today we have Eyeland Z.
Never heard of him.
Yeah, never. Who is that guy? Eyeland Z has been on Gun Channels since the beginning. And he was here, if I remember correctly, before Gun Channels was Gun Channels. He was one of the original members. Back in, of course, before that, when myself and him and a whole bunch of other people, we used to just subscribe to each other's YouTube channels, and we would just kind of loosely kind of figure out who was going to have a discussion on which nights, and try to get together very loosely and do it that way. And he's been around for a long time. He's not necessarily, until this show, he has not hosted any shows that I'm aware of. But he's always been a participator for a long, long time. And as anybody who listens to the show knows, Eyeland Z definitely has his serious strengths, whether it's in particular types of firearms, or as we all know, he is the
movie expert.
Yes, very
Might be the best way to see it.
The movie, as well as the entertainment category expert when it comes to firearms, bar none. I don't know anybody that can touch him in regards to that level of information. I mean, it just blows my mind how he can keep, the actor's name, the character's name, all the other people in some movies that he may have seen once or twice from 15, 18, 20 years ago. So he's a great addition to the Daily Gun Show. He's a great addition to Gun Channels. And I, for one, am glad that he's here with us on this show.
Yeah, and I wouldn't hesitate to call him my friend.
Oh,
good guy.
That's nice.
I'm just sucking up because I might go to Hawaii and then I'm going to have to crash with him.
Yep. All right, we're going to go ahead and head into our second segment of the night, which was the state of gun instructors. We're going to go ahead, and since G-Webs has a lot of experience with a lot of different gun instructors, and put that one to the side just for tonight, so that'll be covered in a future show. And we're going to go ahead and cover subcompact gun considerations. And this is mostly me sharing my experiences in regards to trying to find a subcompact gun that works for me in the role that I need it, yet is also with my size hands functional or ergonomic enough that I can actually use it. and as well as absolutely I would trust my life with. And there are guns like Glock, but it's certainly not the only one that I would clearly trust my life with. But they're not necessarily true subcompacts. They're smaller, yes, but are they true subcompacts? Maybe yes, maybe no. There's, in that category, there's a lot of wiggle room in there when it comes to space. And what I want to share with the experience with is I recently purchased a Car CM9, which is a 9mm. I forget what the CM stands for, but it's a very small single stack 9mm. And I wear, for reference, like if you have mechanics, if anybody's worn mechanics brand gloves, I normally wear an extra large. I can get a large in my hand, but it's like a super tight latex glove kind of fit where it's not very comfortable. So when it comes to like, especially the subcompact 380 guns, I can't pull the trigger back far enough to get it to send the striker or the hammer forward. And so there's a lot of those little small guns I simply can't use, not because they're not any good, just simply because of their physical size. They're so small, or my hand is so big, and I don't have giant hands. These are little teeny tiny guns. And I found that with the Glock 42, I didn't have any of those issues. But when I went to a slightly smaller subcompact, in this case, the Car CM9, I did have those issues. Initially, with that pistol, I did have some reliability issues, but it does clearly state in the manual that you're supposed to break in the gun with about 200 rounds. And as I got closer to that number, it became more and more reliable to where it was just fine as of today, because I took it again to the range today. And what was I going to say? The other aspect of that particular model is that, which really isn't a subcompact thing, but although it may be because of the lack of space in there, is that you can't slingshot it, this particular model. Now, if you happen to have a Car CM9 and you can slingshot it, consider yourself fortunate, because that's in the manual again. It says it's not meant to be slingshotted, and mine would not. So if you purchase one and you insist on having that manual of arms of slingshotting the slide forward, that's not the model for you. Also, because of the size, it goes back to an ergonomic thing. I noticed I really had a difficult time, virtually impossible for me to try to depress the mag release with my primary strong hand. So the idea of changing magazines with that firearm for me was nearly impossible. So the firearm is reliable, but being a subcompact, you need to take into consideration, is it big enough that can you actuate the magazine release? Is the trigger, which would go on to the next issue, you either kind of love it or hate it, goes so far back until it sends the striker forward that your finger literally won't go back far enough to make it go boom. And that was an issue for me. Yes, the gun worked exactly as advertised, but I could not release the mag properly, the magazine, when I wanted to change mags. I was having trouble getting the trigger to fire the round down range reliably due to the distance of pulling it back. And the other issue, which is kind of a preference issue, is I do like having the same manual of arms on all my guns, and not being able to slingshot it, a minor thing, but it was a minor consideration. But that, but the other two factors, the mag release and the trigger, and not being able to fire the trigger every single time, is ultimately what made me decide that the Car CM9 is not for me. So now I'm back in the world of looking for another slightly larger subcompact. I don't know where that's going to lead me, but I would like to get, I don't know, Smeg, if you've ever fired some subcompacts. Have you?
Yeah, I mean, I fired some, I don't know, maybe compacts you'd call them. I guess I don't know where the line is, but like the M&P Shield or the LCP, the LC9, um, whatever the little XD is.
Hmm.
I've shot all of those. I really like the Shield. I don't know if that's small enough for you, but I don't know if you've checked that out. But I wanted to comment on something you said about the whole, slingshot and the slide thing. You said that's a minor inconvenience or whatever. To me, that's almost a deal breaker because
Right.
just like you said, manual arms. I mean, my muscle memory is I have a big dumb hand that doesn't work good. So I grab gun, my big dumb stupid hand grabs top and the big fat part pulls and lets go, and then the slide goes forward. I'm ready to go bang, bang, bang. Like that's just how my brain works. Because I know when you're stressed out trying to do, fine motor skills, or when your hands are cold. I was shooting up north. It was in the fall. It wasn't even that cold. It was like maybe in the 50s. And like my fingers started getting a little numb. And I noticed, for one, my shooting went down, like my groups got bigger. But for two, trying to, you know, hit the mag release or put bullets in the magazine or like different things wasn't working as good. And I can only imagine trying to get that slide release. It's not going to work as good if your hands are all cold and, have blood in the fingers. So there's a reason why you use your big, dumb, stupid part of your big, dumb, stupid, fat hand to slap the top part and just crank it back. Because you can always do that. Injured, bloody, hurt, whatever. Like, you can do it. You use your big, dumb hand, you rack it. I mean, I guess there's all that stuff you can rack off your belt and your boot and the table or whatever, all those other things. I'm not saying I'm super tactical, but that's just, it's such habit for me that I don't think I would carry a gun that I couldn't do that with if I had to.
Well, this is the first pistol I've ever had that was like that. So, and I had never gotten past some of the other issues to where that was the only issue left. So it was, although I'm saying it's somewhat minor, that really does vary on the individual. And so the car is going to go bye-bye. But I think whether it's, I think the problem I had is something that's very predominant on a lot of the micro 380s. That I see out in the gun shops. Even though I've had a Glock 42, which is a 380, but it's a very large 380 as compared to some of the micro 380s that are out there. And you need to take those things into consideration in regards to are you going to be able to pull the trigger all the way back, depending on the type of trigger it is. Some people love that kind of trigger. Some people can't stand it. How important is being able to rack the slide versus using the slide lock as a slide release per the manual to you?
Right. Well, I just want to throw out some suggestions here. I don't know if you're watching the chat, but Angry was saying the what's that? The Sig 290 is another subcompact 9mm. I don't know if you're familiar with that, but that might be something to look at. Pants likes the XDs, and then he covered his head, I'm guessing, to play defense. I'm not going to attack you for that, dude. Do whatever the heck you want. I'm not Matt. So I think they're okay. I personally don't like the XDs that much. I'm not a fan of the grip safety, and at the same time, I'm not really a fan of super compacts either. Like when my pinky finger's not on the grip, I just don't like that.
Right. That's an issue that I faced with the Glock 26. Took me just a couple of sessions at the range, and it was really for me it was a non-issue. But I understand.
It could be I'm not as experienced. Except my buddy's got the XD, and but he also has the magazine that extends out a little bit. It doesn't hold any more rounds. It just has that little like flange on the front.
Right.
And honestly, I shot it with the small mag like once and was like, well, that's kind of dumb. And then I used the other mag and was like, oh, that's much better. And then I just shot with the other mag all the time.
Yeah. It definitely feels weird, especially when you're first starting out. But after a short while, if you continue to go down that road, it does, you just forget about it, you know, and it's not even a factor in your shooting. In fact, I shoot my 2-finger gun, which is my Glock 26, better than I shoot my Glock 19, which I can get my whole hand on. And in fact, I heard that exact same thing from Moon Food, that he shot his Glock 26 better than he did some of his other guns.
And we got some other ones. Or I guess they're asking, have you ever shot? Which one was that? Oh crap! I just saw it. Oh, the XDS, which I think is different than the other XD.
Yes, XDS. I actually have one. I purchased it for a close relative of mine, but it stays in my home with me. But so
there you go, problem solved.
It's actually heavier than the Glock, than the types of guns that we're looking at, because that's an interesting gun. Since it was made as a 45, what they did is to go from a 45 to a 40 to a 9, they made the barrel thicker to accommodate different calibers. So the 9mm is heavier than the 45.
Yeah, so basically they just use the same barrel blank and then just drill out whatever diameter they need.
Exactly. So
yeah, a couple more for LCPs, LC9s, that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
I mean, Ruger does make a good gun.
Oh yeah.
And especially if you're going the LC9S, the striker fired version.
Yes.
I have quite a bit of experience with the hammer fired one. And that thing, oh man, the trigger pulls 5 miles long and 37 pounds type of thing.
Yeah, and that was the kind of trigger that was in the car, except the distance between the trigger face and the back of the grip was smaller. So if that makes any sense as far as how far back you need to bring your trigger finger, even further back. But the LC9S, I haven't shot it, but I did handle it when it first came out in my local gun store, and the trigger was a huge improvement over the previous version, which is what the hammer-fired version that you're talking about. You didn't have that 9-mile-long travel. It was what I'll call kind of Glock-like. You know, you at a short distance up to a wall, you break the wall, it goes boom.
Right. Yeah, I liked it. Because I was considering that, because I've been looking for, you know, a single stacked carry gun. But again, I don't necessarily, I'm not in the same requirement as you as far as it has to be super, super small. So I don't mind a little bit bigger one. Right. I just wanted something a little bit thinner. But yeah, I liked it. I liked the shield better. That's what I'm going with. I just need to find one. I have a holster for it, so now I need to buy it.
It's really not so much the size as it is size usually corresponds with weight. And that's more the issue rather than necessarily the size. Because the Glock 26 size-wise is fine, but it's the weight of it. That you know, in my application, creates some potential issues there. But I did just want to kind of bring up, you know, for that segment, some considerations that I think everyone should make sure that if you're looking for a true subcontact micro, whether it's a micro 9 or one of these micro 380s, that I think is actually the category below subcompact. Maybe that's a better title for this segment. Should have been micro gun considerations that y'all should at least think about, whether it's for yourself or a gift for somebody else. So before we go too much further.
Oh, snap.
Get to your shelters. The Nazis are coming. Get to your shelters. They're going to bomb us all. Oh. It's time for the tactical pop quiz of the day. Now, I know you're thinking, wait a minute. It's just Smeggy and just Dano. How can they possibly do the tactical pop quiz? Because we are the men that get the job done. although Z will be coming in here at some point fairly shortly here, we can do this on our own.
I hope the answer comes in before Z comes in. I love pretending to be him.
I know you do. So have you seen the answer?
Yeah, I gotta go look at it again. I just looked at it. Okay, 42.
Now,
I got it.
First, I want to thank Angry American for sending this question in. So, Angry, thanks. And there are 2 parts to this answer. You can consider that a hint if you want, but I want both parts in the same line. Okay.
So you want that what's typed in there, you want that whole thing. If they only get part of that, they're out of luck.
Well, if they have...
No, they got to do the whole thing. I got you.
Okay. Twice on gun channels, if you can keep an eye on YouTube. Or if you have both.
There's a lot of 42s coming in. I just want to say over on the YouTube side, Daily Gun Show said 42 first. So if that is the answer, that person won. So all you guys are too late on their 42s.
Man. And if you don't like the question, go see Angry. All right. The question is as follows. The RT-20 rifle is chambered in what caliber? The RT-20 rifle is chambered in what caliber?
It's got numbers and a name kind of thing. Do.
That's why I got this TikTok thing, and I recorded it. It's like 5 minutes long. Because I figured it may take somebody 5 minutes to get it.
No, Vroomtastic, something Thunder Ranch is not the answer.
It's not 1971 New Mexico. It's not the 42 ACP.
42 cal ACP, that'd be a good one.
Whoa, Chris.
Ish.
Somebody's close. That's half the answer. That's a tip. Bingo.
There we go.
Bingo. We got ourselves a winner. Congratulations, Raphael. It is the 20 by 110 Hispaniola. Congratulations, Ralph. You are our tactical pop quiz winner for the day. You know where to go, but I'll say it again anyway. Head on over to dailygunchannels.com/pop quiz.
Dailygunshow.com.
What did I say?
You said Daily Gun Channels.
I'm just all confused.
I know, it's okay.
But thank you for correcting me. Fill out the form. Put your first and second choice. If G-Webs has done his job, he's eliminated that third choice. And congratulations, Raphael.
And that makes you today's tactical hot shot of the day.
God, I think I hurt myself.
I'm going to be in the back drinking some ice cold water to get the swelling to go down now.
Just listening to that was painful.
Is he in here yet? I saw him in the notes. No, he didn't join the chat yet. Bummer. So yeah, a lot of people saying they never heard of it. I have never heard of it either. That seems like a pretty crazy round. I don't know.
Yep, but it was notated and validated on the interwebs. So thank you once again, Angry, for submitting that question. And by the way, those of you listening out there, if you have any questions you would like to submit to the Tactical Pop Quiz of the day, send them to dailygunshow@gmail.com. Put in the subject line, Tactical Pop Quiz questions. Submit the questions with the answers and the source of where you got it from, as well as any other suggestions you have for the show on any of the topics we typically do. So on that note,
God, that is a beast of a gun or beast of a round. Let me show you I'm gonna screen share real quick, just in case. I mean, I'm sure all you guys, after you looked it up, you saw the thing, but
oh no, we got it.
So this is a stupid small little 50 BMG. I mean, look at that little tiny thing. And there's a couple other different types, but number 3 right here is the 20 by 10, 110 Hispaniola.
Now, I can only imagine what an elephant gun projectile looks like. And I got to think it looks something like one of those.
Yeah. This one seems like the beefiest out of all of them, though. That's probably the most heavy projectile. And it looks like it's the same cases as these ones.
Right.
The 20 by 110 millimeter. What's that? RB Orlikon MK2.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, look at this. I mean, this is practically a 9 millimeter. This stupid 50 BMG. It's like worthless.
Now, before we continue, Smeg, since you're doing a screen share, do you want to go ahead and do the vid that has the gun of the day?
Oh, yeah, I can do that.
I just figured since you're screen sharing, we can just kind of slip on over into that. And I want to welcome Z Eyeland to the show. We talked about you earlier behind your back.
Yeah, you were the daily person of the day.
The Gun Channel's number of the day.
What? Of course on the day I'm not here. But that's cool. Thanks.
You're welcome.
Okay, where'd screen share go? Do, 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 do.
And at this point, I'm going to hand the baton over to the two of you guys. Have a good rest of the shoe. That's an old throwback to the Ed Sullivan Show.
Yep.
And we will catch you later.
All right. Take
Have a good one, Daniel. Be safe out there.
Thanks for being ringleader there for a while. All right. So the gun of the day today is the Grendel P10. No magazine? Question mark, question mark, question mark. So
It's
this
top
is on,
loader.
yeah, this is on Gun Website's YouTube channel. I'm just watching, show through the video here. It's in 380. But there's a bag with some patches and stuff on it. That's neat. And we don't need another bag from you, NRA. Okay, so here's the thing, and it looks like a gun or whatever.
Made by Kellgren as well. The guy who did the Tech 9. Also the guy who's one of the head designers, or basically started one of the main partners at Keltec as well. He's the Kel in Keltec. He's the same guy who designed this gun.
Yeah.
And yes, it is a stripper clip top loading 380.
Yeah, super compact. You'd almost put that in a vest or something, huh, Dano? I guess he already left, but I'm just saying.
He did.
You were talking about that earlier today. Maybe that's the way to go. That looks tiny as heck. I mean, I know G-Webs has big hands, but heck,
I was just going to say, G-Webs does have huge hands.
I know, but it fits in his hand with the slide lock back. I mean, it's still the size of his hand. I'm not sure why he's beating up a box, but that's okay. Go watch his video over on Gun Websites. Probably just search the thing, or I guess I could put a link here in a minute. But yeah, there's a funky little like loading doodad that kind of holds the stripper clip in place, and then you just thump, push all the bullets down.
Yep.
So we'll get to that.
I think he's saying that there are some sharp edges to it when it's back. That's, I think, the point he was making there, because he cut the box open with it.
That was probably what he said, knowing his sense of humor.
I mean, it's been a long time since I watched this video.
Okay, open up the thing, dude. Come on.
Oh, no, I got to tell you about how the stripper clips work and how the spoon works to load. And
look at that. Fast motion. Doodle, 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 doodle.
Nice.
All right. So you take the little doohickey, you jam it in
Take
the
the
finger
spoon.
bob.
And then you take the stripper clip and you load the stripper clip into the spoon and push.
Push, 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 push.
And you have a loaded gun. Right there. That right now is a loaded firearm ready to rock and roll. Wow, it looks about the size of a the P3AT or whatever.
Wow, look at those sights. That's like non-existent.
What sights?
Yeah.
What sights?
Wow.
Talk about point and shoot, like you're pointing and hoping. But you know what? That's probably innovative in concealed carry, man. I mean, there ain't nothing that's going to catch on, that's for sure.
Yeah, low drag for sure. And actually, the way that it kind of slopes up, and then like you got the little sight, like you kind of just okay, put the point of like the top of the triangle
Make
where
the
you
top
want
of the
bullet to
triangle
go.
exactly. Yep. And as you see, he's not doing that bad actually. He's
And
got
that's
a
from
decent group
shooting
going.
That's shooting behind a camera too. You know, I know
Oh yeah.
that's tough.
Let's never forget that.
Right.
Because
It's
then
like,
actually he's doing fantastic actually.
yeah. And again, in a little concealed carry gun, I mean, what do you need it for? You need it for, you know, what do the people say? Bad breath distance, you know?
Yeah.
I mean, it's all on the paper.
That's acceptable.
At 5 yards. And that's exactly where you would be if not way closer. So
Yeah.
let's see, I don't know if maybe he just shoots it some more or something. Yeah, it looks like he's shooting at the bottom. Now there were some failure to feeds. You see those popping up every now and again. I wonder what he was
think
doing
about
there.
it. You never you know there's no magazine spring to replace really. You probably gotta.
Well, maybe you have to take the whole thing apart to replace the spring. Yeah, seeing that now he's got something jammed up. I think I remember him talking about this. The problem is if you get that where it's like kind of a double feed or something, where normally you'd be able to like drop the magazine out so that'd keep pressure off it, and then you could get the other bullet out. Well, on that, I don't know if you saw it, like he's trying to push the other bullet down out of the way because it's jamming up into that case that hasn't extracted. So you're kind of like pushing and pulling and messing with it. There's no such thing as, you know, tap rack bang. So that's probably part of the problem, but I don't know. I guess I wonder why they did that. Oh, he's got a little key. Oh, the loader thing is the takedown tool. That pushes the pin out. But yeah, I wonder why they went with the no magazine thing though. Because I mean, obviously, magazines were a thing. You know, they were invented at the time that this gun was made. So I wonder, just too many moving parts or something.
Don't have to replace a magazine. If you don't have one, that is.
That's kind of neat. I always like the 007 view. Yeah, pretty basic slide, chunk of metal. So, yeah, that's interesting. It's I don't know, I guess it is what it is, huh?
Yes, somewhat innovative, or at least it was different.
Yeah, different. Like I said, I would almost hesitate to call it innovative just for the fact that I don't know like what problem it's solving by not having a magazine. Like normally innovation is coming up with a novel way of doing something that like, you know, makes something better or solves a problem or whatever.
Well, what if it was some California gun baloney, and since it doesn't have a removable magazine, therefore it solved one of the stupid California gun law problems?
That's possible. Although if they were going to do that, I would love to see.
Because I think he was in California at that time when he made that one.
And none of us could see it because Z wouldn't shush.
Yes. Well, we could always post a link, which I think I will try and
I'll
do
do it
that
right
just
now.
in case.
Yeah, I will do that right now. Yeah,
You're
I
enamored.
should have clicked on my own thing. I forgot or whatever. What sites? Gun websites. Yeah, that's a good one, Night Strike. What the heck's talking in front of my house? Get out of here.
All right, beat it, punk. You bother me.
No, they're loud as hell. They sound like they're on my freaking front porch.
Oh, that's uncomfortable.
I think they were just being loud. I don't know. I heard like bikes and stuff. But oh, I see what's going on here. Anyways, that was the gun of the day.
The Grendel P10.
Grendel P10. No magazine, question mark. What?
Yeah. And now, when he had a chance to talk to Kellgren, I wonder if that was one of the things that he brought up. Because I believe he had a chance to talk to him at one of the SHOT shows or something like that. It was a few years ago now, but I don't think he was able to interview like on camera or whatever, but I'm pretty sure he did get a chance to talk to him. And I'm always kind of trying to pick his brain for that, because that's like one of those guys I'd love to meet, and get a chance to talk to for, 5, 10, 15 minutes. I mean, longer if they'd let you, but, you realize that all those people are busy.
Yeah, I mean, that's, people say whatever they will about Kel-Tec, and listen, I mean, if it's a valid complaint, it's a valid complaint, right? Like if they're whatever, their handguns don't work very well or something, then that's what your opinion is. Or maybe that's what the fact is. I'm not sure. I've heard people say they don't have problems, or other people complain about it. But especially on their rifle point of view, and even some of the handgun stuff, you cannot knock them for trying. You know what I mean? Like, you can't say they don't try new stuff, because they certainly do.
Think about it. Their PLR 16 is actually a piston sort of driven AR pistol that's not an AR pistol. Takes AR magazines. The KSG, innovative for double tube shotguns, right? The PMR 30, 22 Magnum in a semi-auto. Let's see, the what is it, RFB and the RFD, which are both the 308 bullpups. One shoots out forward and one shoots out down. So like a lot of his stuff was out of the box, outside the box, I should say. Let alone that P3AT and what was their little 9 that they had? I think because, man, I swear Marine had one of those, One Bad Marine, and he swore by it. Like he had a good one. He never had one that had any of the problems. And as far as like a small concealed carry pistol, like it's, I mean, if you want to trust your life to that, that's one thing, but you cannot fight the fact that it's a very small, relatively easily concealable 9mm. Botach is in California. To answer Moon's question.
There you go.
Yeah,
So,
switch topics on a dime there. Sorry.
That's fine. Because I was about to just do a hard cut and say gun movie of the day. Battle Royale. Or Battle Royal. I don't know. You want to say it fancy or say it normal? Are you familiar with this?
Did you see it? It's in Japanese.
It's in Japanese. Okay.
So think about it this way. Think about what you know of Japanese high school people, right? Which you either may know a lot, you may know not much. Botach is in California, man.
Hey, Botach is in California, man. Listen to Z. You're wrong if you say it's not. Actually,
I mean, I could be wrong, but every time I get order from there, it's coming from California. So anyway, back to Battle Royale with cheese. So basically, it's one of those movies where it's almost that might be where they're corporate. Anyway,
you're stuck on this now, aren't you?
Yeah, no, I'm putting the bags down, Smegs. I'm walking forward. So anyway, so think about it almost starts out like it wants to be like your basic Japanese high school drama almost. And then it turns fucking weird. Basically the people are, I guess, taken to an island that's not uninhabited, that is relatively uninhabited. It's almost like it was the Hunger Games before the Hunger Games. And it's fucking brutal.
That's what I've heard of it. I think it's safe to say that I have not seen it. That's about like every single movie we ever do. I never see them. But Yeah, I heard it described the best as like it's like the Hunger Games, only more brutal, and it was first. And
Yep.
I heard it was good.
Man, I mean, and some of it's gore, right? Because you know how the Japanese will do that from time to time. Like they have a specific genre sometimes when they're getting gory. But it's also a little bit of teen drama of, oh, he liked her, but she liked him. And there's a little bit of that in there. But man, it's pretty
So you're
cool.
saying it's a chick flick?
No. Well, you know what? I'll tell you what. That's a pretty cool
If your chick likes it,
if
she's
she
keeper.
likes that movie.
Yeah,
You know what I'm
there's a
saying?
couple things like that I'm like, hey, if you think this is a chick flick, you're a keeper.
Yeah, right. So I'm definitely not going to give away what happens. But it's one of those things where it is very similar to the Hunger Games, where some people are in charge and some people are trying to facilitate all the stuff. But there's a twist. And I definitely give it 2 thumbs up, man, because it's man. Does it sound wrong if you end up laughing at some of the ultra violence that happens? I mean,
no, because when it
because it goes over the top and it's kind of ultra realistic, and you're like, yeah, okay, no, but yeah.
right,
And yes, Dot.
when it gets
Sorry,
like
DF2 Dot.
going above and beyond, where you're just like, that's just ridiculous. Like it's okay to laugh at that.
So it kind of almost does that a couple of times. But again, if you've watched any made in Japan for Japan type of movies where it's action like that, you're going to see some of that stuff.
So is it all like subtitled and stuff, or is there like a dub?
There might be a dub. I watched it in subtitles.
See, I don't like reading when I'm watching a movie.
But I've dated enough Japanese girls that I kind of knew what they were saying. Anyway.
Oh, all the parts where the people are yelling at each other, and you're like, oh, I recognize all those words.
Yeah, she just called him an asshole.
I'm gonna kill you, you bastard, all that. Like, you're like, oh, I've heard those.
Wait till you go to sleep, fucker. Yes, there you go. Pink's got it. Just think if 20 teens were given weapons and they were told only one leaves the island. That's a pretty good way.
Oh, so just like regular high school.
Yeah, there you go. Exactly.
Well, only one gets out as the cool kid.
Or the last to bleed out, just like a knife fight.
Yeah, the winner's the last one to bleed out.
But, so if you're not one that, number one, you don't want to read your movie, okay, it's probably not for you. If you're not one that doesn't find any type of entertainment value in, like, Japanese ultraviolence, it's probably not going to be for you. But if you like ass whooping, gun shooting, axe throwing, knife stabbing,
bone tomahawking.
Hey, I don't know nothing about none of that. I don't know nothing about what he said. But if you like all that other stuff, oh, it is. It is. Yeah. So it's again, it's worth it to me for a watch. I'll definitely give it 2 thumbs up. And again, if you've watched the Hunger Games or any one of those, you've probably seen the big budget tamed down version of something like this. I imagine that set of books is probably where that person got some of the idea for is from Battle Royale. It has to be. Like Battle Royale might be from like the 90s or something. Yes. I'd agree with Pink in that it's a cult classic camp. It's nice. He even said it's very good. Nice.
So Cycle Champ saying that basically a Tuesday night. You mean Tuesday night 9 o'clock?
For hit or miss. I think he said shoot everybody but the hot chick and just stay. And then the other person said they have bombs attached to them. And then he goes, crap. Basically a Tuesday night, which is even more funny. Oh, and Angry American saying don't bother with the second one. So apparently there is a Battle Royale 2.
Well, now you're spoiling alert our movie of the day for Monday.
Doesn't say that it's the same people. Could be another island, just like they freaking did in what was it, Jurassic Park 3, do you mean there's another island? What are you talking about? That was Jurassic Park 3 where they pulled that, right?
Oh, I thought
Like,
2
no,
was the
it's
one.
the island that was over there.
Like,
It was either 2 or 3. And they're like, no, it's over there.
Yeah, 2, they went back to the, like, it was like the breeding island or something. It just like ran wild because no one had been around to like take care of it. I think that was 2.
Could be.
But anyways, we're not talking about
So that's a
Jurassic
gun,
Park.
right? That's the gun movie of today. Battle Royale. Check them out.
How many thumbs you give it?
I'll give it 2.
Okay.
I
And
mean,
I'll give
but
it-
I also like Japanese stuff, like whether we're talking anime or movies or culture and all that. So I'm pretty inclined or whatever.
So, oh crap, I forgot what I was gonna say. I don't know. I had a lame joke in there, but I completely forgot what I was gonna say. So whatever. We'll just move on.
Nice.
Man, it
Moving
really
on.
bugs me because it was like a bad pun type of joke, and I completely forgot it. So I guess we will go to about the gun shop. I tossed one in there real quick. Unless do you have one, Island, that you would like to talk about?
No, I'll go with the one you got because you know what you're talking about.
Okay, I've only been here once, and actually I will screen share, and then you can see the thing. It is called Eagle Eye. It is in Wentzville, Missouri, which is outside St. Louis by, I don't know, like 20 minutes or something. I went there one day when I was killing time. There you go. There's a picture of it at night. That's kind of weird looking with the lights and stuff. But yeah, I mean, it's got an indoor range and I don't know, some other stuff. I guess they have training and things. I'm trying to remember exactly. I mean, I think they had a pretty decent selection. They kind of had an L-shaped counter, and there were like rifles on the wall behind it, like pretty good. Trying to think, there was maybe like 4 cases by 3 cases, like lengthwise, and they had a bunch of different handguns and stuff. Looks like it's got 12 lanes at the indoor range up to 25 yards. I love how they always talk about like we have the best bullet traps and stuff. Like, yeah, we don't care.
Any caliber restrictions?
Up to 30 cal, I think it said. All lanes saying up to 30 caliber rifle. And they do have some rentals. We have a variety of handguns and rifle rentals. We will also offer some machine guns, belt-fed machine guns, and silence gun rentals. I don't remember seeing those, but we just rented a couple of handguns and called it a day. And they do the thing, like if you rent a gun, you shoot it for a little bit, like you can just take it back and get a new one. They don't charge you any extra. So basically it's just you're allowed to have like one rental gun on the lane. I'm trying to see if they have some pictures of the shop in here or something.
Does it say what the cost per hour is?
I didn't see that in there.
That's what always gets me.
Here you go. They got some stuffs and things. Weird space gun. Some like hunting rifle looking things. Some stuffs with some other things. You know, the usual.
Well, it looks like a decent variety.
Yeah. Ugh. Glocks. Boring. And I guess they sell silencers. Yes, you read that right. Silencers can be purchased legally from Eagle Eye USA. Obviously doing the whole federal stuff, but...
Yeah, but at least still promoting it and getting it out there. I like that.
Oh, maybe we'll watch this slideshow go by. Yeah, I mean, when we went in there, it wasn't very busy. The people were pretty nice. We kind of went in and wandered around for a little bit just cause, you know, just kind of looking around, and then went and rented some guns and shot. So I don't remember looking at like prices of things. So I don't know what their gun prices are. Yeah, they're not really showing any like pictures inside there. They do have, you kind of can't see it, but there's a big army truck right there. So that's parked out front. So that's kind of neat. And yeah, I don't know. I guess if you're in that, like the St. Louis area ish, go check them out. They seem pretty cool.
Nice.
So that is the gun shop today. Eagle Eye Range, or Eagle Eye Shop and Range, whatever the heck the real name was. In
somewhere
Wentzville, Missouri.
Misery.
Yeah. It is when I'm there for work.
Yeah. Anyway, yeah. Or Missouri. So what do we got left? I see that you guys were crossing out stuff left and right here. That's good.
Yeah, Dano was. He likes to do that kind of stuff. I don't ever do it.
Me either.
I'm gonna say we already kind of hit on the first couple. Unless I don't know, you want to take some time to revisit or something. The alternative gun topic was like how was it? How to get ready for a big regional shoot? How to prepare, stuff like that.
Laundry. Take a shower. Eat a good breakfast.
That's not important. Maybe the breakfast.
Clean laundry is, dude. Trust me.
Nah, it's okay to be stinky.
No, because you're only going to add to different levels of stink. Like if you're talking about Big Sandy or whatever, you're going to be beyond. You ain't going to be able to stand yourself on the drive home Sunday evening, Monday morning. Just saying. But I hear what you're saying. If you're trailing light, then that's the way to go.
Yeah, I mean, I was just joking. Obviously, I would say, take a shower or whatever, but I'm just joking. Yeah, and I just mentioned, make sure you got, obviously, like if you're bringing, ammo and guns and stuff, make sure you have all that stuff, but just remember some of the little things that you might forget. I used the example, I ran out of staples in my staple gun one time when I was up north, and it's like, I'm not driving a half hour to go to the hardware store to buy a pack of staples, so had to deal with it. Found an old nail and just kind of kept repounding that into the wood, which it worked. The paper would rip off every once in a while, and we just have to pick it back up and pound it back in.
And I don't know if anybody uses it anymore, but motherfucking thumbtacks, bro. Tape, thumbtacks.
Yeah, I guess that could work. I like just having the staple gun.
Oh, me too. That's what I use predominantly. Is one of the staple guns. That's in my range bag.
I was at a garage sale, and they had this. It was like a couple staple guns and like a little circular container filled with just staples. Some in boxes, some just like the loose, rows of them or whatever. And I was like, "How much do you want for the staple gun?" And she was like, "Well, I'll tell you what. You give me $5, but you have to take both of them and all the staples." I'm like, okay. So I was grabbing that, and then she's like, "Oh, I found a whole other thing of staples. You have to take these also." And I'm like, "Oh darn, I have to take these also." So I'm pretty much set now.
Loaded. Nice.
So then I ended up basically moving out my good staple gun, which I had bought specifically to go to the range, and that now lives in my house. So that's like, for house use. And then I just have kind of like the old rusted one in my range bag. Because if that gets lost up north or I forget it and leave it outside or something, like who cares? But anyways, okay. So I just want to know if you wanted to revisit any of those a little bit.
That's cool.
And the other one, we did move down one of the things, and Dan will talk about subcompacts and stuff, basically saying he doesn't like his car, which, okay, it is what it is. We all told him not to get it, so that should teach him.
That'll learn you.
Actually, that's a good point, Pants. Steel targets, problem solved. I do have a dueling tree up there, and but I wouldn't mind having other steel targets. That'd be kind of cool. But time and money, So anyway,
Time is
because of
money.
that, let's see. We did gun shop, we did movie, we did gun of the day. Well, I guess I could probably
Dude, it looks like
scroll
we're close to healthy tip and gun channels today.
Yeah, basically. I mean, we do have weekly wrap up. Isn't there like a tab that's like old shows or something? Past shows.
Yep.
So sorry guys, I'm not used to doing some of this stuff. So you know what we talked about today? Okay, whatever. Where the heck Thursday go? I don't know. I guess Thursday didn't exist. Or is this in the oh, this is in the other order. Hang on. I guess I gotta scroll down to see the new ones. Do. Ah, too far.
You mean you don't know how to work a spreadsheet? Is that what you just said?
I know how to work a spreadsheet. Don't you dare call my manhood into question. No, or I should say my nerd cred.
No, you got it. I have
That's
no doubt
annoying.
of
All
that.
the lines through it and stuff. Okay. Well, yesterday we talked about the difference of shotgun competitions. Talked about how to train for shotgun sports. We talked about events. Big Sandy being this weekend, and then we went on from there with Tulsa, the gun show, NRA show, Knob Creek, all those things. On Wednesday, daily carry items, top 10 bad guy guns. I remember Z being very important to that one. We kind of skipped the tactical quiz. Then Tuesday, we had top 5 worst gun laws proposed or passed. Scopes over iron sights was kind of like our good idea, bad idea. And in gun advocacy, we talked about Maryland. We had Marco, otherwise known as Gun Channels _ on Instagram. He lives in Maryland, so he gave us a good perception, person on the ground type of thing. And then we also talked about some of the laws that were going through their legislative process as of right now. Monday, let's see, we had this week where we talked about what we're going to talk about. That's not it. What the heck is this? One's all mixed up. Guns and LEO, on duty, off duty, undercover, special duty. I guess we talked about that. So yeah, that was this week in guns, I guess.
Whoop.
Sorry,
I remember most of those.
Sorry, that wasn't very good. And I do want to say
fine.
for
Come on.
a note for the future. I had done this in the past, and I wouldn't mind help from people if maybe they want to email dailygunshow@gmail.com. What I used to do is when I would listen to the podcasts that go on throughout the week, I would make little notes about like who was the guest, what type of news topics did they talk about, all that kind of stuff, and kind of summarize it. And that came into a nice little short, like weekly wrap up type of thing. No, I have not done that in a while. I'm falling down on the job. It is what it is. But if someone would want to do that and email it, and then we could read over that on Fridays, would make this segment, I think, a little bit better. Other than just going over what the Daily Gun Show talked about during the week, it'd give you a big summary of what happened during the week. Like I said, if it's as far as like who the guests are, like maybe on, like We Like Shooting or Tack Daddy or even This Week in Guns or some of the other ones that have guests on a regular basis, Big Gunner 81, those type, then you could, if you didn't watch them that week, when we hit it on Friday and find out that like your favorite competitive shooter was a guest on one of the shows, then you'll know to go back and watch it. And then additionally, some of like, oh yeah, we talked about, whatever, this law passing or this thing happening or this, that, or whatever, that kind of gives a summary you can look back on and really figure out what happened this week. So I think in the future, that's what at least I would like to see this segment kind of turn into, and any help would be appreciated. And if I just stop being as lazy, I can start doing that as well again. Because it really doesn't take that long. The biggest thing was I had a thing on my phone.
Unless you didn't watch it. If you didn't get a chance to watch every single show, you're not going to know to be able to put it on there.
Well, I know, but there were even times I'd just look at the title and at least say, okay, they talked about this, this, and this. You know. But anyways, I had a little notepad on my phone because I normally listen at work. So when I hear something interesting that I'm like, oh, this is something people should watch, I just open my phone real quick and write in, blah, 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 talking about Hearing Protection Act, or blah, 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 talking about hunting rifles, or, whatever. So, oh, good. I got some support. And yes, it is rumored that I am Dano's long lost son, although I wouldn't say I'm long or lost because I'm right here. So I'm not really lost.
So you didn't really deny the son part then, though?
That's what I'm hinting at, yeah.
Wow.
Well, geez. That takes us through the weekly wrap-up. Other than, unless, can you think of something that happened this week that was like, oh man, that was a show to watch? Maybe we'll try and do it off
Daily
the cuff
Gun
here real
Show.
quick. Well, obviously Daily Gun
That's
Show,
all
we
I
just
know.
went through that, but I don't know, did like Matt and Yankee get in a big fight on Wednesday or something? Like, was there something entertaining that happened?
I missed Yankee's show on Thursday. Yankee was not on Matt's show on Wednesday. Matt's show on Monday was pretty good. Hit or miss. Got to admit, Tuesday was kind of all right. I don't know what you guys really are doing over there, but you guys are doing all right. Doing pretty good.
Kind of all right. I'll take that as a
Well,
win.
hey, you know what? You're doing better than that. I'm just trying to, lowball you, as opposed to, come in with all the praise. I don't want your ego to swell.
Well, and yeah, I don't know. I didn't watch a lot of other shows this week. I'm pretty sure Tack Daddy had Marco, speaking of the guy from Maryland. He was visiting Tack Daddy or something. So on Thursday's show, he's like in the background talking along.
Nice. Yeah, I thought he was down there.
Yep, I do remember that now that I think about it. The AK chat, the first part of it was good this week. I was completely dying, so I ended up falling asleep after like an hour. So I'm not sure how the rest of the show went, but I'm sure it was good. The AK show is always good.
Glad to see you made it.
Yep. Yeah, I woke up this morning, so I guess that's a win.
Yeah, waking up is always a plus. I don't know what the corn anatomy joke is, but corn is a grain, not a vegetable or a fruit, as far as I know. I could be. There may be a joke in there somewhere that I just don't.
We were arguing about fruit. That in a lobby though. We were arguing about corn because I said it's not a vegetable because it's not. It's part of the seed, right? It's not part of the plant.
Yep.
So it's a fruit.
Nope, it's a grain.
Well, but
now if you want to say that it is the fruit of the plant, you can kind of say that, but then that's almost like saying any seed that forms the stuff around it. Because technically the cob isn't the seed is the corn itself.
Right. The cob would be the fruit part. Because the seed is inside the cob.
Right. There you go.
But yeah, I remember I looked it up and it's technically it's a manakamaga whatever. It had some weird word. And then I said like commonly referred to as grain.
Yep.
But it's one of those weird ones, right? Because grains normally are like the seeds of a grass, which corn is considered
like
a grass.
Your wheat and all that.
Right.
Your wheat and all that kind of. Oh,
right.
yeah, nice. There they are. Bars on windows was the good idea. Bad idea.
Bars on windows? I don't
Clay
remember
just
that.
threw that out there. That was earlier this week.
I don't remember that. Okay. But
well, there was some discussion about, and again, that might have been not on the show as well. That might have been on a different thing because there were different people talking about that one.
Maybe we should schedule that.
Huh.
And revisit it because I don't know what you're talking about.
Yeah, that might have been in a lobby, I think. All right, but what do we got going on today? So today's Friday. So it's the end of the week. So that means we got Edge. Did Heavy B already have his right before you guys started?
Yes, Heavy B had his earlier today, and I think it wrapped up. I jumped out early to start up the Daily Gun Show, but I think they were starting to wrap up.
Okay, so then that leaves the Edge. And of course, various lobbies. I know also that then there is, I think Yankee and Matt both do a single show on Sunday. I don't know that anybody's doing anything on Saturday right now. And then basically, if G is back, he'll probably simulcast Charles's show, America Armed and Free, and what is it, Freedom Watch or something like that?
Yeah, Freedom Watch.
So, and that would be Gun Channels today and this weekend.
Yep.
Got a healthy tip?
Yep. Okay, what's your healthy tip?
Healthy tip: reapply sunscreen at regular intervals. Anything over 30 is a lie. SPF 30.
All right.
And whether you sweat it off, you swim it off, whatever, reapply. Liberty Watch, thanks. Thanks, Jimmy.
Oh, yeah.
Not Freedom Watch, Liberty Watch.
But
that's my healthy tip.
Yeah, and I can make a note because of my complexion. I know you don't see my icon right now because I'm pretending to be the Daily Gun Show, but I have to put sunscreen on about every 5 minutes. Because I have that nice where I go from white, red, and then I peel and I'm white, and it's white, red. There's no tan. There's no in between. My dad's the jerk who gets a sunburn, and then the next day he's like perfectly tan. It's like, what the heck, dude? How did that work?
Genetics, but
yeah, he's more Italian than me. He's half. I'm only a quarter.
Well, then there it is. Do you eat enough olives and tomatoes? Not necessarily at the same time.
I don't know. I eat tomatoes. I have olives every once in a while. Why? Is that good for your skin or something?
Olives definitely are.
All right, I'll start drinking martinis, I guess.
There you go.
No, it's okay. I'm doing it for my skin.
Eyeland, do you go to Hawaiian luau? Yes, I have definitely been to many luau's. They're great. Let's see. Other than that, that's our healthy tip. That's Gun Channels today. We did the movie. And I don't think Bob was here today. So, what are we gonna do about?
Oh yeah, we don't have. See, I hate how the stuff like overlaps over the tabs.
Let's see.
You want to find one real quick?
That's what I'm efforting. Yeah, I'm working it.
All right, so I'll kill a little bit of time.
Freedom.
And actually, here's something that might be going on this weekend as far as Gun Channels today. I know that Bob and Ketch are heading up to Big Sandy, so it's possible maybe if someone has a lobby going or something, they might jump in and broadcast from there. I think they did that last year. Bob and G-Webs went last year. So there could be a possibility of seeing some machine guns shooting in the middle of the desert. And someone might actually make a specific show for it, or it might just be a lobby going on during the day. So that's something to look out for. Other than that, we never did whore ourselves out here, so I'll do that real quick too while you're still looking. We do like to take a moment each show to promote something other than freedom, as we always promote freedom. But I'm going to go with the Gun Channels patches. It's the 6th edition. We've talked about them before. There's pink, orange, and glow in the dark. How cool is that? You can get all three. It's over on Indiegogo. I don't have the link. You guys just go look for it. I'm sorry. I'm being lazy. But, just search. It should be under The gun websites probably.
I think so.
Yeah. Or here's even better. So you don't have to do that because I'm failing at my job. Go to Gun
it's on
Channels.
the front page.
On
Yeah.
the front page, you'll see the link to it. Go to it. There's a very limited number. I know the other day when we said something about orange, someone in the YouTube was like, "Oh, I gotta have orange." It's like, well, there's only 5 of them, and 3 of them were spoken for. I don't know, maybe he got one, and now there's only 4, or there's only 1 left. But they are also still available in the 3-pack, which is what I'd recommend because you got to catch them all.
Yep, that's what
So
I
go ahead
did. I
and do
went
that.
for 3.
It helps out gun channels. It helps out gun websites. You know, it's a good thing to do. And as I mentioned before, when the zombies come and we're forming our zombie team, if you have a gun channels patch, you're part of my team. We're all in this together. So it will keep you from getting shot at a long distance because I'll see the gun channels patch and say, okay, we better not shoot that guy. And then when you get closer, I'll be like, hey, I'm from gun channels. And then you'll be part of the team and we'll all work together and we'll take over the world and everyone will be happy.
Yes, but the first question will be, what's your store number?
And then you're double in the group. Then I really know you're a true gun channels member. Or if I ask what's your store number and you respond 42, then you're definitely in.
Nice.
That is the answer to life, universe, and everything.
All right, I got some. I was going to do the George Orwell one and leave you on the weekend just brooding and stewing on it, but I think I'm going to go for something a little bit different. I'm going to go with George Washington instead of George Orwell, the other George. This one's from George Washington, and he said that if the freedom of speech is taken away, then dumb and silent we may be led like sheep to the slaughter. So yeah, there it is. Nice. Another one by. I'm gonna give you a double for this weekend.
Oh man, 2 for the price of 1.
Another president said this one. This one is from John F. Kennedy. Conformity is the jailer of freedom and the enemy of growth. Yeah. Chew on that. Definitely like to say thank you to everybody out there listening, watching, participating. We always appreciate that. If you do have an opportunity to either thumbs up on YouTube, let alone actually hit that subscribe button, we definitely appreciate that. Like and share. If we're on Instagram, hashtag Daily Gun Show. Let us see what you got going on out there. I believe we also have a Facebook page. I know we're on Twitter. I don't know how much we tweet, but if you can end up helping us share, get the word out, that helps.
All right, everyone. Have a good night. Have a good weekend. And, go shoot some guns because that's always fun. The guys and gals at gun websites would like to remind you to take a CCW class every year and practice every day. Thanks for watching The Daily Gun Show.